Today we are going to start our very interesting unit, Unit 1, Maps. After the study of this lesson, we will be able to learn how we can find a place on the earth through maps. How many types of maps are there? And what are latitude and longitude? So students, without wasting the time, let's start with what are maps. Map is a symbolic representation of selected space of a place, usually drawn on a flat surface. Now students, tell me one thing, why do we use maps? Let me tell you, maps help us to find countries, locations of features and distances between places. Students, there are three types of maps. First one is physical maps. Second one political maps and third one relief maps. Okay students, it's time to study in detail about the kinds of maps. First one is physical map. Students, as you can see, this is a physical map. It shows hills, mountains, rivers, valleys and other landforms. Okay students, now let's study this map. Now students, be focused on this yellow pointer. Let me tell you students, the brown shaded part of this map which you can see here are showing mountainous regions of Pakistan and other countries. It means this part of the country is covered with mountains. Now students, be focused on these blue lines. These blue lines are showing river. And how do we know which river is this? You will see between these lines a name is written, and what's that? This is River Indus. Now students, be focused on this green part of this map. As we have learned that physical maps shows hills, mountains, rivers, valleys and other landforms. So this green shady part is showing hills and valleys. Now you can see this part of the map, Arabian Sea. Now we knew how can we find physical features on a physical map. Now second kind of maps are political maps. Students, political maps shows cities, towns and borders between countries and states. Now let me show you the image of a political map. Let's study on it. This is a political map. In this map, we can see different countries and we can also see the neighbor countries of Pakistan. This is the map of Pakistan. Its border is touching with Afghanistan and India. At the side, we can also see Arabian Sea. We can also see towns and cities in the country. Now, third kind of a map is relief map. Students, relief map is a map that uses different colors or textures to show the height or depth of mountains and rivers. Now we all have understood the three kinds of maps, and we also came to know that to study on a map is very interesting and easy. Now students, we are moving towards our next topic, which is longitude and latitude. Students, do you know what are longitude and latitude? If you don't be worried. Let me explain you. Students, Earth is surrounded by some imaginary lines which help us to find an accurate position, distance, time and zone, etc. These lines are longitudes and latitudes, and the vertical imaginary lines are known as longitudes. The horizontal imaginary lines are known as a latitude. The equator is the main latitude line passing through the middle of the earth horizontally. Now comes to the main question, what is an equator? Students, the equator is the central line dividing the earth between northern and southern hemisphere. The horizontal lines known as a latitude lines. And do you know students that the word equator means even maker in Latin? Simply, it is an imaginary line on the surface of the earth equidistant, which means from the north and south poles separating the earth into the northern and southern hemisphere. The value of equator is 0 degrees. It can also be described as the great ring around the planet. that is equidistant from the geographical poles and lies in a plane perpendicular to the axis of the planet. And the vertical lines separates the earth into eastern and western hemisphere. It also represents the reference line on the surface of the earth which longitudes are being measured. Now students, review this lesson and answer the following questions. Question number 1 is define maps. How many types of maps are there and write their names? What are physical maps? And what did we learn about the political and relief maps? Write your answer in 2 to 3 lines. And students' answers should be noted down in your notebooks. Take care and Allah Hafiz.